Okay, welcome back, guys. This is part two of I don't know how many of the building a 4116 or other RAM module testers. We left off with we had just done the step up voltage from 5 to 12 volts from the Arduino Nano. And now we're going to look at getting the negative 5 volts. This video should be quite a bit shorter than the other one because there's not very much to do at all. If you remember, I said before that we were going to use a third chip for the same kind of chip, the 7660 chip, for making the negative output. However, as I was looking through the data sheet some more, and you can see here, this is the circuit for the negative output. However, as I was looking through the data sheet some more, I came across this. You can combine the double voltage and negative output. Like, they come from different pins, and apparently the inner workings of the chip allow it to do so. So, as you can probably guess, I've already tested this, and it in fact does work. So I have the entire circuit, and there's only two 7660 ICs. So that means even less cost and much easier. All you need, it's really simple. You just need to take a capacitor from from pin 2 to pin 4. 3 is in ground still, but also from pin 4 you need a diode, and this is showing a Zener diode, but I don't have a Zener diode here. I haven't. It's Sunday, everything's closed. So I just used a Schottky and it still worked. So again, I don't have all the equipment here to test certain things like ripple and things like that. So for now I will just use a Schottky. Maybe I'll buy some Zener diodes tomorrow because I have to buy some prototype boards as well, of course, to build it. So I will probably buy some Zener diodes just to see if there's any difference. I won't be able to tell probably, because like I said, I have no equipment here to test deeper. But anyway, so you just connected the diode from 4 to 5, and then 5 comes out with a capacitor, and boom, you got your negative voltage. How cool is that? This one chip, and it's so easy. Now, granted, with other chips, you can be more precise. With this is just either doubling or negating the input voltage already. And I can see how if you needed a more precise voltage, that you might want to go with another chip. But for our needs, which are basically 12 volts and negative 5 volts, those are easy to achieve by just doubling or negating input voltages. If you needed something like, say, 13, well, then maybe you'd want to use one of the other chips. I forget what it is. The number is. I have a few of them here. But yeah, so maybe you'd want to use something like that. But for our needs, this is perfect, and it's so simple. The noobest of the noob could use this setup. So I'm going to just run through it real quick by hand and show you again, and then we will look at it on the breadboard, and that'll be it. So let's have a look at that. Okay, so here we have our 7660 and our regular. Here's our input, our 5 volt input, and we've got this coming down, and we've got the diode here coming down, the other diode out, and then coming out here and then to ground. And then this one is going from the negative, or we have a capacitor here, and positive and negative, and this is going to 2, like that. And we don't do anything with 1. Now normally, well, we still have pin 3 to ground, and where before we had pin 4 doing nothing and pin 5 going to ground, now we are just taking pin 4 and pin 5 and connecting them with a diode. And this is showing a Zener diode, and like I said, I used a Schottky and it still worked fine, so I don't know. But then 5's coming out up here, and you're just going to have 1 capacitor going down to ground. And then there's your output. That's your -5 output. And everything else is the same. 7 and 6 are unconnected, and so is 1. And that's it. That's the only difference. And we still have our output here, which is still going to be 9 volts or so. 9.5 or so. I don't remember what it was. But anyway, and then it's going to go to our other 7660. So all of this is all the same except for a few little changes, and we're going to get all of our voltages that we need. We'll have our 5 volts coming from obviously the Arduino, and then, or this or wherever, and then -5 coming from this first 7660, and then 9 volts coming from the first 7660 out to the second 7660, and giving us, well, roughly 17.5 volts, which, like we showed before, is going to go to a 7812, which will give us our 12 volts. And that's it. That is the whole circuit. I mean, that's not much at all. Hopefully. Yeah, it's kind of hard. I mean, I'm a little bit better artist than this, but it's kind of hard with the camera there with my arm over here. But yeah, so that's it. So let's look at it on the breadboard. Okay. So you can see here, this is basically the same breadboard that I had connected from the last video, except all I did was I now have a capacitor going from pin 2 to pin 4, and a diode going from pin 4 to pin 5, and then coming out from pin 5 I have, a lead, and then the capacitor going to ground, and there's the output from that, and that's it. That's the only difference. And we're going to see here, we'll turn this on, get it off millivolts. Okay, and we will plug in the Arduino. Connect our ground here. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but let's start with testing. The 9 volts, or the 18 volts. So that's the 18 volts, as you can see, coming from the 2 chips together, doubling the doubling. And then, like I said, that'll be going to 7812. And so now let's test the -5. And we have -4.77. So that should be plenty good. I could go look at the data sheet, and I probably will later, but we don't need to do that in this video. I'm pretty sure it's going to be close enough. But there you go. -4.7877. And that's our negative. So those 2 chips, a few capacitors, a few diodes, and that's it. So easy, super easy. So I believe this is, for something like this, like I said, with was just -5 and 12 volts. Excuse me. Unless you need something, excuse me, unless you need something that's uncommon, an uncommon voltage, I don't see any reason why you should use any of those other chips other than these. These are super easy to use, and it's going to just probably be a very clean board when it's done, and definitely going to be easy to make a PCB out of. So I'm looking forward to that. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something. I hope you get a start yourself on making one of these, and I'll see you in the next video. The next video, hopefully I will be either working on or have a prototype done. So until then, take care and see you soon.